രൂപജാലകത്തിലൂടെ നമ്മുടെ ജീവിത പങ്കാളിയെ കണ്ടെത്താൻ
വേൾഡ് മാട്രിമോണി.
Performance of individuals and groups. Learning objectives. Number 1. Understand the key dimension of individual level performance. Number 2. Understand the key dimension of group level performance. Number 3. Know why individual and group level performance goals need to be compatible. Principles of management are concerned with organization level outcomes such as economic, social, or environmental performance, innovation, or ability to change and adapt. However, for something to happen at the level of an organization, something must typically also be happening within the organization at the individual or team level. Obviously, if you are entrepreneur in the only person employed by your company, the organization will accomplish what you do and reap the benefits of what you create. Normally thought, organizations have more than one person, which is why we introduce to you concept of individual and group performance. Individual level performance drawn upon those things you have to do in your job or in role performance, and those things that add value but which aren't part of your formal job description. These extras are called extra rule, performance, or organizational citizenship behaviors, OCBS. At this point, it is probably simplest to consider an in-role performance as having productivity and quality dimensions associated with certain standard that you must meet to do your job. In contrast, OCBS can be understood as individual behaviors that are beneficial to the organization and are discretionary, not directly or explicitly recognized by the formal reward system. In comparison to enroll, performance the spectrum of what constitutes extra-rule performance or OCBS seems be great and growing. In recent review, for example, management researchers identified 30 potentially different forms of OCB which they conveniently collapse into 7 common themes. Number 1, helping behavior. Number 2, sportsmanships. Number 3, organizational loyalty. Number 4, organizational compliance. Number 5, individual initiative. Number 6, civic virtue. Number 7, self-development. Definition and example for this and cheerleading, instructing in a new hire on how to use equipment, helping a co-worker catch up with a backlog of work, fetching materials that a college needs and cannot procure on their own. Interpersonal helping focuses on helping co-workers in their jobs when such help was needed. Courtesy subsumes all of those for insightful gestures that help someone else prevent a problem, touching base with people before committing to action that will affect them, providing advance notice to someone who needs to know to schedule work, face making, action that help to prevent, resolve, or mitigate unconstructive interpersonal conflict. Cheerleading, the words and gestures of encouragement and reinforcement of co-workers' accomplishment and professional development. Sportsmanship, a citizen-like posture of tolerating the inevitable inconveniences and impositions of work without whining and grievances. Organizational loyalty, identification with elegance to organizational leader and the organization as whole, transcending the parochial interests of individual work groups and departments. Representative behavior include defending the organization against threat, contributing to its good reputation, and cooperating with others to serve the interests of the whole. Organizational compliance or obedience and orientation toward organizational structure, job description, and personnel policies that recognize and accept the necessity and desirability of a rational structure of rules and regulation. Obedience may be demonstrated by a respect for rules, instruction, punctuality in attendance and task completion, and stewardship of organizational resources. Individual initiative or a pattern of going well beyond minimally required levels of conscientiousness. Attendance, punctuality, housekeeping, conserving resources, and relate matters of internal maintenance. Civic virtue, responsible, constructive involvement in the political process of organization, including not just expressing opinions but reading one's mail, attending meetings, and keeping abreast of larger issues involving the organization. Self-development includes all the steps that worker takes to voluntarily improve their knowledge, skills, and abilities so as to be better able to contribute to their organizations, seeking out and taking advantage of advanced training courses, keeping abreast of the latest developments in one's field area, or even learning a new set of skills so as to expand the range of one's contribution to an organization. Group level performance. A group is a collection of individuals. Group level performance focuses on both the outcomes and process of collection of individuals or groups. Individuals can work on their own agendas in the context of a groups. Groups might consist of project related groups such as a product group or an entire store or branch of a company. The performance of a group consists of the inputs of the groups minus any process loss that result in the final output, such as the quality of the product and the ramp-up time to production or the sale for a given month. Process loss is any aspect of group interaction that inhibits good problem solving. Why do we say group instead of team? A collection of people is not a team, though they may learn to function in that way. A team is cohesive coalition of people working together to achieve the team agenda. Teamwork. Being on a team is not equal to total subordination of personnel agendas, but it does require commitment to the vision and involve each individual directly in accomplishment the team's objectives. Teams differ from other types of groups in that member are focuses on a joint goal or product, such as a presentation, completing in a class exercises, discussing a topic, writing a report, or creating a new design or prototype. Moreover, teams also tend to define by their relatively smaller size. For example, according to one definition, a team is a small number of people with complementary skill who are committed to a common purpose, performance goals, and approach for which they are mutually accountable. The purpose of assembling a team is to accomplish bigger goals that would not be possible for the individual working alone or simple of many individuals, independent work, teamwork is also ended in the cases where multiple skills are needed or whereby in is required from certain key stakeholders. Team can but do not always provide improved performance. Working together to further the team agenda seems to increase mutual cooperation between what are often competing functions. The aim and purpose of a team is to perform to get result and to achieve victory in the marketplace. The very best managers are those who can gather together a group of individuals and mold them into an effective team. Compatibility of individual and group performance. As a manager, you will need to understand the compatibility of individual and group performance, typically with respect to goals and initiatives. What does this mean? Looking at goals first, there should be compatibility between individual and group goals. For example, do the individual goals contribute to the achievements of the group goal or are they contradictory? Incentives also needs to be aligned between individual and groups. A disconnect between this is most likely when individuals are too far insulated from the external environment or rewarded for action that is not consistent with the goal. For example, individual may be seeking to perfect a certain technology, in doing so delay its release to consumers, which customers would have been satisfied with the current solution and put a great priority on its timely delivery. Finally, firms need to be careful to match their goals with their reward structures. For example, if the organization goal is to increase group performance but the firm's performance appraisal process reward individual employee productivity, then the firm is unlikely to create a strong team culture. Key takeaway. This section helped you understand individual and group performance and suggested how they might roll up into organizational performance. Principles of management incorporate two key facets of individual performance: in rule and OCB or extra rule performance. Group performance in turn was shown to be a function of how well individuals achieve a combination of individual and group goals. A team is a type of group that is relatively small and members are willing and able to subordinate individual goals and objectives to those of the largest group. Exercise. Number 1. What is in-role performance? Number 2. What is extra-role performance? Number 3. What is the relationship between extra-role performance and OCBS? Number 4. What differentiates a team of a group? Number 5. When might it be important to understand the implication of individual performance for group performance? Number 6. DW organ organizational citizenship behavior, the good soldier syndrome, Lexington Lexington Books, 1988. Number 7. PM Podsakoff, SB Mackenzie, Sabi Payne, and D.G. Bachrach, organizational citizenship behavior. A critical review of the theoretical and empirical literature and suggestion for future research, Journal of Management, 26 2000, 513-63. Number 8. This definition and example are adapted from D.W. Organ, The Motivational Basis of Organizational Citizenship Behavior.